back to CentralValleyTalk.com with Mike Briggs and Athena. Okay, we had quite a show. We had Dr. Roth talking about his new Accent Prime. Then we had Rebecca. Hilda, our holistic life coach. My friend's cousin, her name is Rebecca Hester. She's doing something very cool. She just did an event, but she's got something really cool coming up this summer. So we'll have to have her on the air with us again this summer. It's called the Mongol Derby. I've never heard of it. She does have a GoFundMe. We'll be talking to Rebecca in a second about it. It has earned its title as the toughest and the longest horse race in the world, recreating the mail delivery system developed by Shingris Khan, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and 1224, 1,000-kilometer race against Mongolia, goes over mountain passes. I mean, this race sounds crazy. Dunes, rolling hills, riverbeds. I mean, it's absolutely wild. She's a beautiful woman inside and out. So without further ado, Rebecca Hester, everyone. Rebecca, what race did you just complete? You just did something, right?
Yeah, so I just finished a 150-mile race, horse endurance race in Idaho. And actually it was 157 miles in 3 days. So
That's
we
crazy.
had early morning starts in 20-degree weather and rode for 8 and 9 hours a day.
Did you win?
We got second. I rode with a group and we got second.
That's amazing. Okay, and tell us about this derby coming up this summer. And by the way, Rebecca does have a GoFundMe. We'll post all that. Did I read it okay? Is that like, tell us about the history and why you're doing this. It's crazy and fun at the same time.
Yeah, so it's a 1,000-kilometer race, which is about 620 miles. And you ride on semi-wild Mongolian ponies. So every 25 miles, you get a new horse. And
look at that horse.
You ride it to the next horse camp. Half of the year, these horses are out just on the Mongolian steppe wild. And so you don't know when you come into the camp what kind of horse you're going to get. You could get a firecracker or you could get a dud. Horses don't turn left. They won't go. They won't leave another horse. You don't know what you're going to get. So you just try to go as fast as you can from one horse camp to the other. And you try to avoid the marmot holes and the wild dogs. And you have just your GPS.
Yes.
So you have to navigate your way across, the hills and the bogs and across the terrain. So, yeah, it should be very exciting.
I want to ask you, though, because you were saying about the wild dogs. I've gone on, my husband and I and the kids went to... Where were we? We went on like this horse. Oh, we were in South Dakota. And it was one of those cowboy things where they cook dinner and you ride a horse. And, it was led by a guide. But there were a couple times where the horse was like dipping into the holes. And I'm like, oh my God, what if a sound, a gunshot or a wild dog? Has that happened to you, Rebecca? And what do you do if they hear a sound or a wild dog? Like, how do you know what to do with these
You
horses?
just hang on. You hang on.
You just hang on. What kind of training goes into this?
Well, so I've been riding pretty much since I could walk. So all my life.
And you're from Fresno.
I am from Fresno. I was born and raised in Fresno, grew up riding horses in Fresno. I went to San Joaquin Memorial High School and graduated. So, yeah, I'm a California girl.
Where did you learn how to ride? Like, did you go out to Clovis, to the country? Like, how do you learn all these things?
My parents put me in horse riding lessons when I was really young. And no, I didn't go to Clovis. I can't even remember. The name of the place I rode was called Rivendell Ranch with a woman named Jane Johnson, who was amazing. And I grew up riding and show jumping and, riding on the hunter jumper circuit or all around California. And then I stopped to go to college. Then I had kids. And then now I'm a professor at Virginia Tech. I live in Virginia. And I bought a farm when we moved here, and I just got back into it, and I had never heard of endurance riding. I didn't even know it was a thing, but apparently people go out there and they ride 100 miles in a day, and there's a famous ride called the Tevis Cup that actually happens in California at Lake Tahoe. So there's all kinds of rides out there, and I stumbled upon one. I was actually in the Virginia Tech Daily News. They were talking about a student who had done this ride called Race the Wild Coast, which is in South Africa.
Wow.
And it talked about all these microclimates and swimming in shark-infested waters and dealing with, intense, mountain passes and all this stuff. And I said, that is the coolest thing I have ever heard. And so I just started digging around. What is endurance riding? And I found the Mongol Derby, and in 5 minutes I applied, and I had to go through 2 interviews and show them pictures and prove that I knew how to ride. And then they finally accepted me. They get like 500 people, hundreds of people every year apply, and they only take between 40 and 45. So they accepted me, and then COVID hit, and then the race got postponed. So anyway. So I don't know how you prepare for this race, because I don't know how anybody prepares to ride 1,000 miles in 9 days, or 1,000 kilometers in 9 days.
I was just going to ask you how many days. Okay, so it's 9 days, and where is it again? Where's the Mongol Derby again?
So we fly into Ulaanbaatar, which is a big city in Mongolia, and then the race camp is you have to drive a couple hours away to start the race camp, and then they've set it up out on the outskirts of Ulaanbaatar. But it's on the Mongolian steppe. You can be riding along the side of the Gobi Desert, just out in all different kind of terrain.
This is amazing. What are the exact dates, and what can people do to help you? Because I know you have a GoFundMe, so tell us the dates. And I believe, the link's right there, the GoFundMe for Rebecca, but when exactly is this?
So I'll leave the end of July. I'm actually going to go drop my kids off with my sister who lives in England, and then fly to Mongolia. And the race starts August 2nd, and it ends the 11th. And there's a couple of days before that of pre-race training camp. And the race is not cheap. It has a full medical team. It has a full veterinary team. The veterinary team keeps the Mongolian animals healthy that's out there. It's called Steppe and Hoof. So it's a charity that I'm trying to help, because the Mongolian herder families are really having a hard time staying out on the steppe. Many of them are having to move to the cities. So they rely a lot on their livestock. So this veterinary organization is able to keep them and help them live the lifestyle they've lived for thousands of years. So they provide the horses, and so they also get some money for their horses. So altogether, it's a pretty expensive endeavor, but you have helicopters and other folks on hand if you need help. So that's what you're paying for.
Well, I was wondering where the money went and all that kind of stuff, and it's an expensive race. This is a total side note from the race, but you're a professor at Virginia Tech, and I know the University of Virginia, those shootings, prayers going out to Virginia and their families. I know that's a total side note, but I thought about that because you're a professor, and I know that happened in the school system. So prayers going out to the state of Virginia.
Virginia Tech had a big shooting here,
A couple of years? Wait, has it been? It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it was like 2014.
Crazy. But you're a professor there, and I think it's so cool that you're doing this race, Rebecca. So
thank you.
Is this the website that people can see what you're doing, the GoFundMe and everything?
So they can go to the GoFundMe, and I do periodic updates about, what I'm doing. And, if they want to send me a message or whatever, they can find me. They can also look me up at Virginia Tech. I have a list of gear that I need. So I'm trying to work on that. My next thing is to try to get a GPS to practice, because I don't want to get lost out on the Mongolian steppe and have my pony run one way.
Not in the middle of Mongolia with a horse. I can't even imagine, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is awesome. Well, Fresno's own Rebecca Hester, there's your GoFundMe. Will you get on the air with us? Maybe if your race is starting in July, maybe a month before, and then is this GoFundMe? Are you just raising all the way up till July, until you actually start the race?
I'm raising for the charities now. I'm really just trying to help the charities that helps, there's a couple of charities I'm raising money for. So I'll be raising all the way up till I leave.
Fresno's own Rebecca Hester, you're doing an awesome thing. The Mongol Derby. Who knew? All right, Rebecca, have a great night. There's a GoFundMe right there, right in front, so you can donate, and this is an awesome cause. We'll be back. Oh, there you go. And there's the website right there. All right, we're Mike and Athena. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Happy Thanksgiving, Rebecca.
Bye. Thank you. You too.